It was fall in the quiet little Midwest town of Centerville, a time when yellow-orange maple leaves gently floated through the breeze. In a simple home along a calm neighborhood road just a block away from Main Street, Leah Hartwell stood by the window while getting dinner ready. She had grown up in Centerville, and the familiar view outside gave her a sense of peace. Leah taught third grade, and her days always started with children laughing and ended with peaceful time spent with family. Her husband, Austin, whom she'd been married to for 3 years, worked in sales at the town's insurance office. He was kind-hearted and well-liked by the townspeople, which made him a perfect match for Leah. "I'm home, sweetheart," came Austin's voice as the front door opened. He wore his usual office clothes and looked a bit worn out, but he smiled warmly at Leah. "How was work?" Leah asked, turning to place a kiss on his cheek. "Not bad," he replied, slipping off his coat. "I'm meeting a new client tomorrow, so I'm a little on edge." "You'll do great," she reassured him. "I believe in you." These easygoing chats were what Leah treasured most. From day one, they had made it a routine to share dinner and talk about their day. Weekends brought another joy, spending time together with Leah's sister Georgina and her husband Derek. Georgina owned a hair salon in the middle of town. 3 years ago, shortly after Leah's wedding, Georgina had also tied the knot with Derek, a man who worked in construction. The bond between the four of them had grown stronger over time. One Thursday evening, Georgina called. "How about a barbecue this Saturday?" she asked with her usual bubbly tone. Her lively voice always put Leah in a good mood. "That sounds lovely. I think Austin would really enjoy that," Leah said. "Derek's excited about it, too. Haven't Austin and Derek gotten super close lately?" She was right. In recent months, the two men had really hit it off. Back when both couples were newly married, Austin and Derek had only been politely friendly, but now they treated each other like brothers. That Saturday afternoon, the four of them gathered in the backyard for a cookout. Austin and Derek handled the grill, chatting and laughing about work and their favorite pastimes. Derek was strongly built and had plenty of hands-on skills from his years in construction. "Want to try out a new fishing spot next Friday?" Derek asked. "Sure," Austin replied. "It's been a while since we hung out just the two of us." Meanwhile, Leah and Georgina were at the table making salad, listening in with gentle smiles. "Don't you just love how guys bond?" Georgina said. Leah nodded. "I'm glad Austin and Derek have become such good friends." In the weekends that followed, the two men started hanging out more often, not just for fishing, but also for rounds of golf and evenings at the nearby sports bar. The motives were diverse. Initially, Leah experienced some loneliness, yet she recognized the significance of each partner having their own time. "Men need their time together too," Leah replied when Austin shared his weekend plans one day. "Thank you, Leah. Your understanding really helps," Austin said, gently squeezing his wife's hand in appreciation. In fact, as Austin's outings became more frequent, Leah and Georgina started to enjoy their time together as sisters. They went to the movies, shopped, and relished their time alone for the first time in a while. "We should appreciate our time together more often," Georgina redirected, flaunting a new dress she had purchased. Leah appreciated this new family dynamic. Each of the four had their own character, but they supported one another whenever necessary. She believed this was the best way for a family to exist. Within the small community of Centerville, the connection between the Hartwell and Brown families was admired by those nearby. Whether at church or community gatherings, the four always acted as one, resembling a large family. As October came to a close, Leah began to notice subtle shifts in her husband's behavior. Austin and Derek's outings had expanded from weekends to weekday evenings. "I'm meeting Derek again tonight," Austin announced, getting up after dinner on Wednesday. "Again? You went out yesterday, too." Leah responded without looking up while washing dishes, her voice showing a hint of confusion. "He has work-related matters to discuss. Derek's construction company is apparently considering reviewing their insurance." Austin explained gently, placing his hand on Leah's shoulder. "I understand. Then I guess it can't be helped." Leah smiled, but deep down, she felt an unexplainable unease. In the 3 years of their marriage, Austin had never been out so often in the evenings. The following afternoon, Leah was chatting with her colleague Margaret in the school faculty room. As a seasoned teacher in her 50s, She had a knack for noticing subtle changes in human relationships from years of experience. "You look a bit fatigued lately. Are you okay?" Margaret asked while looking over grade reports. "Yes, I'm fine. It's just that Austin has been busy lately, so he's been around less. Men sometimes go through phases like that. When they're stressed about work, they value their time with friends." Margaret's words were reassuring to Leah. Indeed, Austin's insurance sales job was always under the pressure of acquiring new clients. Time spent with his friend Derek was likely a way for him to relieve stress. Over the weekend, Leah and Georgina continued their usual shopping trip at the town's small mall. While browsing clothes, they began discussing their husbands. "Derek has been out with Austin a lot lately, too," Leah remarked, pulling back the dressing room curtain. "Male friendship is truly wonderful. Derek always comes home excited after talking about Austin." Georgina clapped as she admired the blue dress Leah was trying on. "What do they talk about?" "Work stuff and old memories. Derek rarely mentions friends, so I'm glad he's become close to Austin." Georgina's sincere words made Leah recognize the value of their sisterly bond. Leah convinced herself that her anxiety was merely overthinking. However, that assurance would be shaken a few days later. On Thursday evening, after Austin went out with Derek, Leah noticed her husband's car keys were left on the kitchen counter. When she stepped outside, she found the car parked in the driveway. "Oh, Austin's car is here," Leah murmured to herself as she approached the vehicle. Upon opening the driver's door, she discovered Derek's work clothes in the back seat. A dirty blue jumpsuit and a small bag of tools were casually tossed there. "Why are Derek's things here?" Leah wondered, perplexed. Derek was supposed to drive his own car. Why were his work clothes in Austin's vehicle? The next evening, when Austin returned home, Leah asked casually, "Yesterday, Derek's work clothes were in your car." "Oh, that," Austin replied while preparing coffee. "Derek's car broke down, so I've been picking him up this week. Since we often go out directly from the job site, he keeps his change of clothes in the car." The explanation made sense, and Leah felt reassured. However, a small question lingered in the back of her mind. Derek's construction site was across town, and quite far from Austin's insurance office. Picking him up daily would take a lot of time and effort. In November, their time together as a group decreased compared to before. Weekend barbecues happened about once a month, and the two men were out almost every weeknight. Leah and Georgina began spending time together more frequently, just the two of them. "We've been enjoying more time together lately," Leah shared one Friday night while watching a movie at Georgina's home. "That's true. But this is fun in its own way. We can enjoy our time as sisters like we used to," Georgina replied while munching on popcorn. Her expression was bright, and she didn't seem concerned about her husband's outings at all. "Doesn't Georgina worry about Derek going out so often?" Leah asked cautiously. "Why would I worry? Derek is hardworking and honest. Having time with friends helps him stay calm at home, too." Georgina's response reflected the ideal mindset of a wife for Leah. Indeed, having absolute trust in one's husband likely formed the foundation of a healthy marriage. However, in the second week of November, Leah would face another doubt. On Saturday morning, Austin mentioned he was going fishing with Derek and then left. However, that afternoon, when she encountered Derek's co-worker at the supermarket, she learned something unexpected. "I heard Derek went shopping in the neighboring town with his wife today." Tom, who worked at the construction site, told Leah. "What? But he was supposed to go fishing with my husband. That's odd. I saw Derek leave with Georgina in the car this morning." Leah was baffled. Austin had explicitly said he was going fishing with Derek, yet Derek was in a different place with his wife. When she got home, Leah quickly called Georgina. "Are you out with Derek today?" "Yes, we're browsing furniture stores in the neighboring town." "Why?" Leah could sense Georgina's confusion from the other end of the line. "That's strange. Derek has been with me since this morning. He's right next to me now." Leah was enveloped in profound confusion. Where on earth had Austin gone? And why had he lied about his plans with Derek? That evening, when Austin returned, he shared detailed accounts of his fishing trip. However, Leah couldn't listen with an open heart. "Which river did you go to?" "Mill Creek. The usual spot." "Did Derek catch any fish?" "Yes, he's better at it than I am. He caught 2 big bass." Austin's story was detailed, as if he had genuinely experienced it. However, Leah knew for certain that Derek had been furniture shopping with his wife that day. That night, Leah struggled to sleep. She tried to rationalize her husband's lie, but no explanation seemed satisfying. Perhaps Austin had gone fishing alone, and the plan with Derek was merely an excuse. Yet even that felt sufficiently peculiar. In the third week of November, Leah began to scrutinize her husband's actions more closely. Austin consistently went out on weeknights, saying he was meeting Derek. However, when Leah checked in with Georgina, Derek was often at home. "Derek has been around more lately," Georgina mentioned casually one day. "Really?" Austin claims he meets with Derek every night. "That's odd. Derek has been coming home early recently. He was home by 8 o'clock yesterday, too." Leah felt as if a heavy weight had settled in her chest. In the first week of December, Leah made a decision. She needed to uncover the truth about her husband's behavior. However, asking directly could cause serious rifts in their marriage. At that time, an unforeseen event occurred. One afternoon, Leah was teaching arithmetic to her third-grade class. While writing an explanation of fractions on the blackboard, there was an urgent call from the faculty room. "Miss Hartwell, urgent phone call." At the announcement over the school intercom, Leah paused momentarily. Emergency calls during class were rare. "Everyone, please work on this problem. I'll be right back." After telling the children this, Leah hurried to the faculty room. When she picked up the phone, she heard an unfamiliar woman's voice. "Is this Mrs. Hartwell? This is the emergency department at St. Mary's Hospital." Leah's heart began to race. "Yes, that's correct. Your husband, Austin Hartwell, has been brought in by ambulance. Please come to the hospital immediately." "What happened? Is he okay?" Leah's voice trembled. "We'll explain the details when you arrive. Please come as quickly as possible." After the call ended, Leah stood there for a moment. Margaret approached, looking worried. "What's wrong? You look pale." "Austin has been taken to the hospital. I must go right away." "It's okay. I'll supervise the class. Drive safely." Leah hurriedly grabbed her car keys and rushed to St. Mary's Hospital. While driving, various possibilities raced through her mind. Was it a car accident? A heart attack? What could have happened to her 35-year-old husband? After parking in the hospital lot, Leah rushed to the emergency reception. "My husband, Austin Hartwell, was brought in and I received a call. You're Mrs. Hartwell. Please wait here. A doctor will speak with you shortly." The receptionist nurse guided Leah to the waiting area. What she saw was unexpected. Georgina sat in a chair with a pale face, holding her head in both hands. "Sis, why are you here?" Leah exclaimed, surprised. When Georgina looked up, she had an expression as if she had seen a ghost. "Leah, you were called too." "Of course. Austin was brought in, wasn't he? Why are you here? Were you together?" Georgina couldn't answer and held her head again. At that moment, a middle-aged male doctor in a white coat appeared. "Mrs. Hartwell and Mrs. Brown." "I'm Mrs. Hartwell." Leah was confused. Why was the doctor looking for Georgina? "I apologize. We need to discuss both of your husbands. Let's go to a private room." The doctor led Leah and Georgina to a small consultation room. When Georgina stood up, she appeared unsteady on his feet. Once inside the consultation room, the doctor suggested they sit down. Leah and Georgina took seats a bit apart from each other. "First, let me inform you about the condition of both your husbands." The doctor's expression was serious. "Austin and Derek are currently undergoing surgery." "Surgery?" Leah was taken aback. Georgina also looked up, staring at the doctor. "Right now, you cannot visit them. You will need to wait until the surgery is complete." "What type of surgery? What happened?" Leah's voice grew louder. The doctor cleared his throat and carefully chose his words. "Both are in a situation requiring surgery." At that moment, Georgina tried to rush to her husband. "Mrs. Brown, please take a seat. I'll explain everything to both of you." The doctor waited for the three to settle down. "Your husbands were together when they fell into a medically rare situation." "Together?" Leah and Georgina exclaimed simultaneously. "Yes, they were." The doctor hesitated. "Doctor, please tell us clearly what happened," Georgina demanded firmly. The doctor took a deep breath, as if he had made up his mind. "Your husbands experienced a medical phenomenon known as penile captivation. This is a rare occurrence that happens during sexual activity between men. Heavy silence filled the consultation room. It took Leah several seconds to comprehend the doctor's words. Georgina stood up from her chair and leaned against the wall. That means, in other words, Leah's voice trembled. Your husbands were in a sexual relationship, and during that time, a medical accident occurred requiring emergency surgery. Georgina sank deeply into her chair, covering her face with both hands. That's a lie, she said, her voice strained. That can't be true. Derek is. Austin is. Leah felt as if she had been suddenly plunged into ice water. The events of the past few months replayed in her mind with an entirely new perspective. How long will the surgery take? Leah asked mechanically. It's scheduled for several hours. Fortunately, their lives are not in danger. However, psychological support will be necessary. Psychological support? Georgina turned around. This type of situation is very challenging for families. We can also refer you to a counselor. Leah stood up. Her legs felt unsteady, and she leaned against the wall for support. I need some fresh air. Leah! Georgina called her sister's name, but Leah left the room without looking back. As she walked through the hospital corridor, Leah reflected on the past 3 years of her marriage. Austin's kindness, his thoughtfulness, had it all been a facade? Had the husband she loved ever truly existed? When she stepped outside the hospital, the cold December wind struck her cheeks. Leah took a deep breath. The sky was overcast with gray clouds, and it was starting to snow. Her cell phone rang. It was a call from school. Hello, Leah. Are you okay? How is your husband's condition? Margaret's concerned voice came through. He's still in surgery. I'll explain the details later. I see. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Everyone is worried about you. After hanging up, Leah returned to the hospital. In the consultation room, Georgina was crying. We will keep you informed about the surgery's progress, the doctor said before leaving the room, and the three were left in heavy silence. The surgery lasted 4 hours. During that time, the two in the consultation room hardly spoke. Georgina occasionally sobbed, and Leah continued to stare at the snowy landscape outside the window. After 9 p.m., the surgeon, Dr. Henderson, appeared with a weary expression. The surgery was successful. Both are not in life-threatening danger. Leah sighed with relief, but at the same time, mixed emotions swirled in her chest. Should she feel happy that her husband was safe, or should she be angry at the betrayal? She didn't know. When can we see them? Georgina asked tearfully. Tomorrow afternoon. They should be conscious and able to receive visitors then. However, there may be psychological shock, so please keep the visits brief. The doctor continued. This type of situation, while medically rare, can be a very difficult experience for all family members. The hospital also has trained counselors, so please reach out to them if needed. The two left the hospital. When they parted in the parking lot, none of them knew what to say. Tomorrow, let's come back, Leah managed to say. Yes, Georgina replied, wiping away her tears. The next afternoon, Leah visited the hospital alone. She had decided to separate her visit from Georgina's. She wasn't mentally prepared to face their husbands in the same room. Austin lay in a bed in a private room. His face was pale, and 4 tubes were attached to his arm. When Leah entered, he turned away. Leah! Austin's voice was weak. Why? Leah asked quietly as she took a seat. When did it begin? Before we married or after? Austin looked at the ceiling as he replied. About a year after we got married? At first, it was just friendship, but gradually. Didn't you love me? That's not true. I love you. I still love you. Austin finally turned his face toward her, tears in his eyes. But Derek too. You love him too. Leah's voice held not anger, but deep sorrow. I didn't intend to hurt you, but I couldn't suppress my feelings. For 3 years, I was deceived. I wasn't deceiving you. My marriage to you was real. But that alone wasn't enough. Leah stood up. I can't make any decisions right now. I need time. Leah, wait. I'm going back to my parents' house for a while. I'll consult with a lawyer. Leah left the room without looking back. In the corridor, she passed Georgina. Her sister's eyes were swollen, showing that she had cried all night. Take care, Georgina whispered softly. The two sisters exchanged only brief words and went their separate ways. A week later, Austin and Derek were discharged from the hospital. However, what awaited them was even greater hardship. In the small town, rumors spread quickly. Leah returned to her parents' house, but at school, she was met with sympathetic glances from her colleagues. The children were unaware of the situation, yet they sensed the changes in the adults' attitudes. "How are you feeling today?" Margaret asked in the faculty room. "I still can't make any decisions, but I'm trying to gradually accept reality. Take your time. There's no rush." That afternoon, Leah had an unexpected visitor. Austin and Derek had come to visit her parents' house together. "Can we talk?" Austin asked at the front door. "Isn't Georgina with you? She still can't talk to me." Leah let the two men into the living room. Her parents were out, leaving her alone in the house. "First, we want to apologize," Derek began. "We both hurt you deeply, and that's a fact. But our feelings were real too," Austin continued. "Our marriages to you weren't fake. It's just that we had another side to us. Does that justify anything?" Leah's voice was calm. "Weren't you deceiving us for your own convenience?" "That's not true," Derek vehemently denied. "We were also suffering. We didn't know how to deal with these feelings." "Why didn't you tell us the truth?" "There was also the option to divorce and be free of each other, wasn't there?" "We didn't want to lose you," Austin replied. "For us, our relationship with you was also important, but we couldn't suppress our feelings for one another." Leah sighed deeply. "I can no longer trust you. No matter what you say, the fact that I was deceived for 3 years doesn't change." "Leah, please." Leah stood up. "I've already made my decision. I'm getting a divorce. Please await contact from my lawyer." Austin and Derek were left speechless and exited the house. That night, Georgina called. "I've decided to divorce too." Her sister's voice sounded exhausted. "Did you talk to Derek this evening?" "Just briefly, but I realized it's beyond repair." "What will you do now?" "I plan to continue the beauty salon, but it might be painful to stay in this town." "I feel the same way." The sisters understood each other's pain. "But there's one good thing." "What?" "That our bond was real. We can support each other as family." Leah cried. Indeed, during this challenging time, her connection with her sister had deepened. 2 months later, the divorce proceedings were finalized. Austin and Derek, unable to endure the town's scrutiny, decided to relocate to the West Coast. "Let me say one last thing before we go." The day before their move, Austin visited Leah's parents' house. "The time I spent with you was truly valuable to me." "That much isn't a lie." "I know that," Leah replied quietly. "But that alone wasn't sufficient for both of us. I wish you happiness. You too be happy." Along with Derek, the two exchanged their final farewells. The anger had faded, but love had also vanished simultaneously. 6 months later, Leah was brewing morning coffee in her kitchen. It had been 3 months since she gained independence from her parents' home and started living in a small apartment near her school. Outside her window, the lush street trees of Centerville swayed in the breeze. Austin and Derek had moved to the West Coast as promised, and she had heard rumors that they were beginning a new life in Portland, Oregon. She didn't know whether the two were living together, but it was no longer important to Leah. Georgina initially considered leaving town, but ultimately chose to stay. The regular customers at the beauty salon had shown unwavering support, which was a significant reason. "People might stare at us with curiosity at first, but as time goes on, their interest shifts to other matters," Georgina told her sister over the phone last week. "Besides, we didn't do anything wrong." Leah admired her sister's resilience. Indeed, they had not done anything wrong. At school, the warm support from colleagues continued. Margaret, in particular, had become like a second mother to Leah. The students' parents treated her with the same kindness as before. "Miss Hartwell, would you accompany us on piano for the upcoming school play?" One day, Sarah, the music teacher, asked in the faculty room. Before the divorce, she had been called Mrs. Hartwell, but now she was back to Miss Hartwell. That change also symbolized a new beginning for Leah. "Of course, I'd be happy to," Leah replied with a smile. Music had become a great source of comfort for her. She had resumed playing piano, a skill she learned in her single days, and a small digital piano was now in her apartment. On weekends, Leah enjoyed new activities, volunteering at the library, participating in the community gardening club, and joining a monthly book club. She was exploring things she hadn't had time for before. Being alone can be so fulfilling, Leah thought to herself one Saturday afternoon while tending to a community flower bed. Ellen Miller, a woman in her 70s working alongside her, smiled. Marriage is wonderful, but your relationship with yourself is equally essential. Ellen was a widow who lost her husband 3 years ago. I felt lonely at first, but now I've learned to cherish my own time. In the latter half of life, you should focus on what you truly deem important. Leah resonated deeply with Ellen's words. For her, at 32, life was still long. Moving forward, she wanted to live according to her own values. At the end of summer, Leah received surprising news. Lisa, a college friend who was now an elementary school principal in Chicago, called. Leah, a fantastic teaching position has opened at our school. Would you be interested in coming to Chicago? Yes, the salary is good, and you'd gain experience in an urban environment. I think it would be ideal for a fresh start. Leah contemplated it for a week. Leaving Setterville would mean losing many things. However, it could also open up new opportunities. Ultimately, she chose to remain where she was. I want to build a new life here, she told Lisa with conviction. Setterville is my hometown. It's because I faced challenges here that I discovered true strength. As autumn deepened, Leah proposed a new program at school. It was a support group for children dealing with divorce and familial issues. My own experience might be beneficial to the kids, she explained to the principal, who immediately approved. In the first session, Leah met with 8 children, all of whom carried their own family struggles. The adult world is complicated, and sometimes incomprehensible things happen. But that's not your fault, Leah spoke gently. What's important is to value yourself and maintain connections with those you can trust. Seeing the children's eyes light up, Leah felt she had found her new purpose. That night, she had a lengthy phone conversation with Georgina for the first time in a while. Sister, your voice sounds so much brighter. Really? I feel it too. I feel like I've become more myself than before. Family that's not related by blood, just like you said. Your colleagues, students, people in the community. Everyone is supporting you. Leah gazed out the window. The night view of Setterville lay quietly before her. In this small town, she had discovered a real family. It wasn't based on blood relations or marriage, but rather on bonds with people who chose to respect and support each other. A new life was just beginning.